I can't afford a taxi.
Get a job.
Arnold, that's the whole idea in the first place. Willis needs a job.
You get the picture? I'm unemployed.
Then why don't you collect unemployment insurance?
Arnold, to collect unemployment, you gotta not be working at what you're working at before you stop working.
What you talking about, Willis?
So, as we are out here waiting for the big Max Crosby-sized fish to bite on our fishing line, which may never bite, the Bears have been catching a bunch of little fishies along the way, including, as the opening clip may lead you to guess, Jedrick Wills Jr. So, I ask you, Samir, who has talked about liking the signing. Tell us what you think about it, how it fits within the system, what's like, but yeah, what gets you excited about it, and yeah, and then all the other signings as well.
Yeah. So I like how you talked about the fish thing, and I have my own metaphor that I thought of, which I'll address after the Wills question. So the Bears have taken a very measured approach to this offseason, it would seem. Now, they've been rumored to be in on several, big ticket players. Obviously, none of that has come to fruition yet. Though Kobe Bryant is a solid player, right? Devin Bush is a solid name, but as you were talking about that big fish, Jedrick Wills is interesting because he was first round pick in 2020. And then the last 2 years, he hasn't. Last year, he didn't play a single game. And even the year before that, he didn't play much at all. So he's kind of a wild card. He's got some high upside, but we just don't know. I think coupling a player like that, and obviously the Bears have a need at left tackle now with Ozzy's injury, basically making him miss most of next year. When you couple that with the signing of Braxton Jones, which is only 1 year for $5 million, you've got a nice little competition at left tackle now between a guy who has maybe a lower ceiling but a higher floor because you've seen him play, you know what you're getting out of him, he knows the playbook. And then you've got another guy who has a higher ceiling but a much lower floor because he hasn't played at all last year, doesn't really know the system yet. But this guy was a first round pick and he was pretty good early on in his career. So you've got these two guys, both cheap, both for 1 year deals, fighting for that starting spot. And I think it's going to be a good battle. And I think whoever wins that job will truly have earned that spot. And we will feel comfortable about whoever that ends up being.
So then, do you think from a left tackle perspective, the Bears are kind of done for the time being?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Now, if they really like Monroe Freeling, the tackle out of Georgia, and he falls to 25, do they take him? I don't know. It all depends on how they feel about Ozzy's injury, because now you're in a spot where you've spent high draft capital on a tackle last year with Ozzy. He's learning how to play left. Now you've taken a 25th overall left tackle pick in the first round. That guy's going to be your left tackle of the future. So now what do you do with Ozzy? He's not being your right tackle, right? Because you got Darnell right there. So it would create a little bit of confusion in terms of what they're going to do next. So I don't see them going in that direction unless they really like that player. And we know, they'll draft whoever they feel like is the best player available, is kind of what they said. And I believe them when they say that. But I do think they're out of the offensive lineman market in this draft, at least early on.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it's I guess from a him specific signing, it seems like a low risk kind of signing, like the financials
Absolutely.
weren't really crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it is quite
absolutely.
a bummer. It does put them in kind of like a yeah, from a football sense, somewhat of a precarious position because you were really found someone in Trapillo and you really liked it. And as you said, like if you drop
Yeah.
somebody now or draft someone, it kind of shifts sort of what you do with Trapillo, what you do with this person you signed. Yeah.
The only position they absolutely need to draft is a safety because they've done a nice job in free agency of signing players where they had needs that can be serviceable. Um, like they signed a couple linebackers, right? Um, Jack Sanborn they just signed as of today, and we're recording this on Wednesday. So they signed him, and then they signed obviously Devin Bush, and they've still got like Edwards and Sewell. So like they filled some holes there, and then they signed a couple defensive players on the line. They signed a Lynch earlier today. They signed Street. They signed Gallimore. They signed a couple defensive linemen who are just they're guys. They're not like world beaters, but the contracts are fine. Um, and so yeah, they and the center they traded for. So I think they put themselves in a position where it's like, yeah, maybe at 25 we can take the player we like the best in this draft. Um, and I think that's a good spot. And they've got the 2 second round picks now because the DJ Moore trade, so they'll be able to take two quality defensive players there. It'll be interesting. I think people are starting to sour a little bit on the defensive tackle position in the
Mm.
draft. Used to be Caleb Banks, Caden McDonald. Now we're figuring out Caleb Banks broke his foot at the combine, so he's going to drop. McDonald might not fit exactly what Dennis Allen wants to do. So now they're talking about Peter Woods, who he's a good player, but maybe he doesn't wow some people. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. A lot of mocks have them taking a safety, either McNeil Warren or Dylan Tianneman as the two safeties that would be available there for them to take at 25. But I do think that their first three picks will all be on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Something I was reading this week as they were like showing like Nashon Wright signing elsewhere
Hmm.
and Brisker
Yeah.
and Bayard and I think Zakia signed somewhere. And I guess just a lot of them were signing 1 year contracts, and the article was trying to make the point of like I think that maybe shows you what the league feels about those players. I don't know if
Yeah. Yeah.
that yeah if I guess what do you think people signing 1 year contracts in other places really means for the overall like just the player, and was it a good move for us to like basically not re-sign any of those people who were in many ways like fairly instrumental in our team last year?
I think so. I think the coaching staff knew what they had um, in those players. And look, you don't know why some people sign 1 year deals. Maybe they were offered multi-year deals, but they didn't like the number, so they're like, I'd rather just sign a 1 year deal and ball out, and then get another multi-year deal next year. So you don't always know what those circumstances are around it, but you're right about that. And look, the Bears also signed their fair share of 1 year deals to guys too. So it's been a weird market. The edge rushers are getting paid. The safeties are not really, the DBs are not really getting paid all that much. So it's kind of interesting. But you're right. We are waiting for that big ticket person to come, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Mm.
I think we're just going to like build through the draft. I think they're going to keep all their draft picks. Maybe they take a swing at Crosby again in the middle of the season if they're having a good season and he's staying healthy and they do it before the trade deadline. But I don't think I would expect anything major here before the draft.
Yeah, like you've for the last couple of weeks talked about like what the defense needed was to get faster, and they've gotten faster. And then I was like,
Hmm.
I've been the last 3, 4 days just Googling Chicago Bears about
Yeah.
55 times a day just to see if anything pops off. But I'm seeing kind of that same thing. And so like, it's the big fish, the big tickets like kind of fun, but just thinking about like this seems to highlight we're thinking about structure, we're thinking about long term,
Yeah.
we're thinking
Yeah.
about like what do we as an identity, I don't know, identify as. And so it
Yeah.
does make me feel good. I mean, not having a significant presence on the defensive end is still kind of like it was a glaring challenge last year.
Yeah. I mean, you got Sweat and Booker, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we had. And then you get Shamar Turner back. I don't know if he's going to play inside or outside. Um, so we'll see. And then you get Diody and Bo back. He didn't really play all that much, right? So maybe they're gonna kind of see what these guys can do, or I don't know. There's depth there. Are these players any good? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where do you think? So then it sounds like you said you think we're going to be drafting all defensive people. I mean, do you think there is
But the
room?
first three picks, I
Yeah, with the
think they'll,
first
yeah,
three. Yeah.
yeah. After
Yeah.
that, I can see them taking another running back or maybe a younger wide receiver or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Devin Achan's name being
Yeah,
floated around. Yeah, I don't know how do you feel about our running back room going into
I
this?
think it's fine.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
so
it's
too.
fine. I think they're gonna need a shifty back, you know, that they'll have to get at some point because Swift is, he's fine. I just don't think he's gonna be on the team after next year. And then so you lose the quick shifty back guy. You still have your
Yeah.
power back guy and Manan guy, but you're gonna need somebody to replace the quick shifty guy.
Are there running backs floating around there in the later rounds that are like quick, shifty future?
Yeah, there will be. I don't know any of them, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be able to find somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I still like I was reading this other thing about just like from who was a captain during the Eberflus years and just how slowly
Yeah,
people have been going, right?
half the team was a
Yeah.
captain.
Yeah. It's just, I guess it's just such a yeah, there's a lot of overhaul happening and you're kind of doing
Hmm.
this hope that like this defense of this year matches maybe a little bit more of Dennis Allen of what Dennis
Yeah.
Allen wanted to do.
And Ben Johnson, yeah. I mean, he's got his finger. I mean, we didn't even talk about Khalif Raymond, right? They
Mm.
signed this 32-year-old wide receiver, but he's been with Ben Johnson before. He also is a Pro Bowl returner, so they didn't need to sign Devin Duvernay, and you saw him move on. So, they got a two for one kind of in that sense because he can be your wide receiver 3 or 4 and at a high level, and then also handle, those return duties. So that was a great signing too. So I mean, like they've got none of their signings have been bad so far, right? Just because there's also low risk and they fill some needs. And like when I was talking on Bears on Tap, it kind of feels like the Bears, as a Bears fan, you're at the Mexican restaurant and you've got your chips and salsa and it's good and you're eating it. But then you're watching all the other teams get like all the other tables get their fajitas and they're coming out and they're sizzling and you're like, man, that smells good. Like, where's our fajitas? Are we getting anything? And you're like, no, not yet. Okay, well, I mean, I'm just gonna keep crushing these chips because they're delicious. But
Yeah.
at some point, you're like, I want my fajitas, and I don't know if you're gonna get your fajitas until maybe the draft, and then you'll see if they taste good.
And I'm actually like feeling pretty okay with these chips and dip as you bring it up. Like
Yeah,
I don't,
chips
the
and
fetus,
salsas, it's fine.
it's fine. It's good. These are homemade fresh chips. They're
They
nice.
are. I mean, they're not super filling, but they taste good right
Yeah.
now. At some point, I think you're gonna need to get a meal, and so what does that look like? Where does that come from?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a different pace. I know we say this probably every single week, but the pace of this off season is such a like we're pulling at strings, I feel like sometimes just of like waiting for something to happen. And I wonder what the like I wonder what the players are like. Like they're just like, can we just get started? Can we just play some football?
Probably. I bet they're itching. I bet they're itching at it.
Yeah. I was just as a side note, we had like a long time ago talked about the collusion with the NFLPA. Um there was like a collusion story about how all the owners were almost being encouraged to not pay players like their max contracts.
Is this a Pablo Torre?
Yeah, yes, yeah. And so there was a
Mm.
new they were he was talking to the head security guy. Basically, JC Trotter had like left in disgrace because he had hired the new executive and the executive was caught up in some shit, but now he's in the running again to be the head, even though he said JC Trotter said I don't want to be there. So a lot of
Mm.
that's where the football world is at right now. Um Okay, so we're getting kind of in the I mean it's not really that we still got about a month until the draft. And I've asked you this every week, but how should I as a Bears fan be spending my time over the next how do I bide my time? Who should I be searching for like I know you named a bunch of people of like potentials, but who are like yeah, I guess as you think of potential names out there, who are some people I should start to like
Yeah,
YouTube?
absolutely. I mean, first of all, I would look at mock drafts because you'll get a sense of the players' names because you'll probably see them over and over again in some order, right? The first round players are the first round players for the most part, and then see which ones get linked to the Bears most often. I mean, you'll see a lot of Peter Woods, you'll see a lot of Dylan Tianeman, you'll see a lot of Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Those are the three big names. You'll see some TJ Parker, who's an edge player. You'll basically see defensive tackles, defensive ends, and safeties, the two safeties linked to the Bears. And so you can watch them. You can check out the Bears on Tap pod that we did with Jacob Infante. We went over a lot of players in depth. Zion Young is another one from Missouri. Akeem Messidor, his teammate from Missouri, the two edge rushers there have been linked to the Bears quite a bit. Zion Young fits that larger defensive end mold that Dennis Allen really likes. So he's kind of like that. Oh yeah, this guy will probably be there at 25. Now, can the Bears trade back and still get him if he's still there, right? So you can look for stuff like that. But I think as a casual Bears fan, the first thing you should do is just look at some mock drafts, look at the players, not just the ones the Bears pick, but most of them around that area, and read about what they are, right? Why the mock drafter picked that team for that player, and then that'll give you a sense of like what this kind of player is about, and maybe be like, damn, that sounds like a guy that would actually be good for the Bears, and maybe that's somebody that you would hope would fall to them at
Yeah.
that spot. So yeah, it's always good just to read content on these players. You'll get familiar with their names, and you'll be excited to be like, oh shit, I remember that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Is there and thank you for that. Are
Yeah.
there like does a defensive end rookie make an impact in the same way that like a safety rookie makes an impact? And I guess what I'm asking, are there certain positions that have like veterans make more impact than
Mm.
rookies? Like I imagine like a center who's been in the game maybe is a little more
Well, that's a
important.
great question. Yeah, on defense, no. Defense rookies, they can make impacts. Offense is a little bit more nuanced, like you said, the center position, things like left tackle, right, where you have to like understand, diagnose more coverages, understand what's going on with the quarterback, build that rapport. Defensive ends, it's like go get the quarterback. You're more
Mm.
athletic than this guy. Go get the quarterback, right? Same thing with defensive tackle. Safety, maybe a little bit, but rookie safeties have done well as well. I think on the defensive side of the ball, no, the player that they pick at 25, it's a defensive player, should come in and make an immediate impact.
Yeah, so that I guess too that like calm of like we haven't found a defensive end
Mhm.
yet, and if there's a potential dude in the draft who could make an instant impact, that like makes me feel like okay still, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's our fajita.
Oh dang.
Hmm. That
Man,
guy's
okay.
gonna be the fajita.
Dude, I mean whoever that is, we've already got him a nice little nickname, so that's kind of badass.
That's true, the fajita.
Okay, so as we close out, any sort of final thoughts before we get to like promotional stuff?
No, no. It's gonna be this is the slow time until the draft. Actually, no, you can have fun with mock drafts. After that, it'll be a little bit slow until, we figure out, who's gonna get cut because they're gonna be over the roster limit, right? What state they're gonna play in, all the fun stuff we still need to figure out. But yeah, it's mock draft season, baby. Go just Google mock draft. You'll find a million of them. Get educated.
Okay, where can people listen to you, read you, watch you,
Yeah,
all
at
that stuff?
ontapsportsnet.com. Bears on Tap podcast. You can find all my work there at smpatel06 on X, was where I post a lot of the stuff that I do. So check me out there.
Badass. If you are in Chicago this Saturday, March 21st, I'm doing an improv show at the Comedy Clubhouse with my other team, me and Zazzle at 9:30. So Saturday, March 21st at 9:30 at the Comedy Clubhouse. Improv, you can get tickets at the door. You can get tickets at the Comedy Clubhouse website. You can text me and I can tell you to go to the Comedy Clubhouse website and tell you that you can get tickets at the door. We appreciate you all listening. For Samir Patel, I am Chirag Rathod. We are the Bears in the neighborhood, your weekly insight into the Chicago Bears in under 30 minutes, and we will catch you all next week. Also, quickly, a shout out to the empathetic Packer fan. Today is
Oh,
his birthday, March 18th. I don't think he's listened to us at all in the past year because of the Bears' success, but if you are
mm,
listening to this one, happy
maybe
birthday.
we can put some candles and a big wedge of cheese for him.
Okay, that'd be really nice. We'll catch y'all next week.